you check the children? Your little match
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Long days and pleasant nights, fellow travelers along the path of the beam. I am known on this level of the towers, Jaime and Fuego.
I'm Cecil, Laird.
And if it please you, join us for some very special palaver on a Hail to Stephen King, I guess it is. Yeah.
Hail to Stephen King Sunday,
Yes.
we'll call it.
Damn right, because we have actually been covering episode by episode. We're about to watch the third installment later today. But welcome to Derry, which is the prequel series that Andy and Barbara Mucchetti had been teasing since, I think, all the way back to the 2017 film, and then they teased it even more so. Like, they always wanted to cover the interludes in some particular capacity, but they didn't really feel that it fit into, like, the narrative proper, because there was already so much they wanted to cover there. So, finally getting their wish here in 2025, which is pretty cool. I was a little ho-hum on the first episode, but I thought the second one really rebounded, and something that set the tone pretty badassly, if that's even a word, it's not, but was this new intro that debuted with the second episode. So,
when this episode aired, I saw the intro and I loved it. This one we actually watched separately from each other. We did not do a a watch along, which we are doing tonight for the episode. So at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, tune in to our channel or, right here, Davey Deathray. We are going to be co-streaming with Davey as we watch the new episode, and then we will be recording a review that we will post here afterwards. And when we watched episode 2, I saw this intro, and immediately I was like, this is really cool. I don't know any of this stuff, what's going on.
Yeah.
And as we were discussing it in our review of episode 2, I was like, it might actually be cool to have you, Fuego, explain everything that happens in the opening credit sequence. Yeah, everyone that's read the book probably knows what's going on, but I don't. And, once you say, oh, it's the Ironworks, oh, it's the Black Spot, and then I look back and it says Ironworks, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I still think
context,
it's a fun thing for you to break down, give everyone the context, let us know where you think we might see these things in the series, if we might see these things in the series, and maybe also where were they shifted in the timeline, because they will have had to have been shifted, right?
Exactly, yeah, because they altered the time to being in the 80s, 1989. Well, technically Georgie dies in 88. There's always an inciting incident, and then things ramp up a little before. They hit a crescendo, and then they kind of simmer down from there. So, 89, the new series taking place in 62, 27 years before. Just to keep in context, though, as Hanlon researches in the books, it's not approximately 27. It's like in the 25 to 30 range, depending on what cycle. Yeah.
Really? So it changes?
It does.
It's not exactly 27.
It's not approximate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do, I think we should watch it all the way through one time to give everyone that maybe hasn't even seen it a full watch through, sound and all, and then we will go ahead and go through, frame by frame, so to speak, as we talk about it. So,
and also just to give some brief context for the source material from the 1986 novel by Stephen King. So Hanlon, who is the only one who stayed in Derry, he has five
Hanlon.
Yep, Mike Hanlon. Because Will Hanlon, his dad, is the
right
one who's
now
in
we got to be clear.
Yeah, is the one who's in the series and everything. But so there's 5 interludes in the book. The first one is kind of a prologue, the 5th one is an epilogue, and then the middle ones are where they detail like a big time incident that happened in Derry. There's 3 different ones, and one has been hinted at in the 2017 film. I'm assuming they're going to get to it here. They've already kind of sown the seeds, so to speak, and I'm excited about that. The third one is shown very prominently in this, and then the 4th one, well, we'll just
let's get into it when we get to it.
But there are 5 total, and that is the source material kind of referencing. So.
And for anyone that's new to the channel, first time seeing us with this video, because I'm sure that'll happen with the popularity of the show, if you didn't know, Fuego here has done more than 300 episodes on this channel of something called
Hail to Stephen King. Hail!
I was going to say. Say it right, man. Come on.
Give it some zest. Bump.
So, if you are interested in all in watching someone that knows anything and everything about Stephen King, then I highly recommend you click on our Stephen King focused episodes playlist. You'll get all the Hail to Stephen King's. He actually did a tier list breakdown of every Stephen King novel and all the short stories, which I think we need to do an update to that one at this point.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we update Never Flinch?
No, we haven't updated the shorts yet. We've updated the main novels, but not the anthology or the short stories. So.
Oh yeah, with You Like It Darker having come out the year before. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys are interested in any of that, please check out that playlist. But for now, let's check out this opening credits sequence for It Welcome to Derry. Let's have some fun with this because I enjoyed the hell out of it the first time. Here we go. Okay, making it visible, and 3, 2, 1, go.
And this is actually a real song, originally recorded in 1956. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Got the Paul Bunyan in the background, which everyone that saw the chapter 2.
Yep, terrorizing Richie. Beep, beep. But just, pardon me, just the whole Norman Rockwell vibe, and like, you know, everything looks so great on the surface, but then what is lurking below, as you see tentacles right there.
Yeah, it sets such a wonderful tone.
And you
like,
see the Juniper Hill stuff at
it's,
the psych
everything's
ward.
happy, but there's something going on under the
what's
surface.
happening around, just behind the curtain, so to speak.
Yeah. And I love just the hints here and there
Yep,
to
and
Pennywise.
there's Nebolt Street, obviously. You know, these people, they're like, we're moving in, we're so excited.
Yeah, the weird stuttering guys in the presentation is it's a downloaded video issue. It's not.
Yeah.
This isn't actually how it looks, you know. But I forgive me. It's what happens when I download videos.
And so there is the big. We'll get into it, but the most clear-cut reference to the interludes right there.
Yeah, I mean it seems pretty clear cut, but at the same time, I don't have any frame of reference for any of this stuff.
Yep. And then this was actually depicted at least a little bit in the 2017 film where Ben is doing the research and he sees the burnt up kids after he's reading about this incident.
I didn't remember that. Okay. Lovely.
Yeah.
Sets such a tone.
Yeah, it really does.
All right.
Wonderfully, man. Yeah.
Cool. So, let's pull it
Andy
back.
direct.
Okay. All right, so let's walk it through. I'm going to turn the sound down, and we can just walk it through here.
Yeah. So we're going to end up skipping around a little bit. So if you want to just pause on Paul real quick.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if they're going to get to it possibly in a later season, or maybe there will be some flashbacks this season, what have you. But the fourth interlude is to deal with a lumberjack.
Guess we can take these off.
Yeah, we can take these off now. So the fourth interlude has to deal with a lumberjack, and it's a Canadian guy. I want to say it's Devereaux, but I just want to double check.
Okay.
Okay, excuse me. Claude Hérault. So the fourth interlude has to deal, I believe it's 1905 when this happens. And
wait, and so again, just real quick,
this is book timeline as
interludes
opposed to
in the book, so
within the text, yeah.
So basically, it breaks up the story of the Losers Club with these interludes.
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So it's essentially the writings of Mike Hanlon that he is basically putting to page firsthand accounts that he got from people who were there and actually saw this sort of stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So this actually comes to Mike from an Asian guy from the library board of directors. What the heck was his name? Egbert Thorogood. We'll just call him, one of the board guys from the library who, at this point, would have been aging like, really, really pushing up there in years. But so there was a lumberjack in 1905 that the Claude guy that I just mentioned, who he's drinking in this bar called the Silver Dollar, and in this bar they're having a poker game, and this disagreement goes down, and he ends up killing 5 guys. But this is like the epitome of how people in Derry are nonchalant and just look the other way to violence, but then also can be prone to excessive amounts of it themselves, because this guy kills 5 people. Nobody in the bar acknowledges it except for this Thorogood guy who relates the events to Mike. And then the dude just basically, Claude sits down, this lumberjack guy from up in Canada, and he's just like head down, waiting for the sheriff to come and get him. Nobody in the bar pays any attention, pays it any mind. He eventually is taken down to the courthouse, what have you, and then like 70-something guys in Derry who get word of it go and they're like, nope, there's not going to be any sort of judicial process. We're taking this guy, and they take him out to the canal where Adrian Mellon, the canal where the gay kid in chapter 2
Sure.
gets, first he's bullied and then thrown in and, chomp to chomp and everything. So they hang...
Chomp a chewy chomp.
Yeah. So chomp, a chewy chomp, me man. But, so they take this lumberjack and they hang him, like, right in front of the canal. And so it just shows that not only are they prone to just turning the other way when violent stuff is happening, but they also can act with these just... excessive just rates of violence. And so even though they don't show anything about Claude in that particular interlude from 1905 in the stuff so far, showing the lumberjack and Paul Bunyan, I think it kind of ties into that interlude a little bit.
Cool.
And I really wanted to mention it at the beginning because it actually bookends what we see at the very end of this.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Forgive me for looking down at this. I'm trying to get our backup mic going, and apparently the card's full, so I'm trying to delete shit as we go here. So.
Yeah.
All right, continuing on.
Yes.
You tell me where to pause next.
Yeah, so this is where they're just kind of showing various, just areas of the town. Nothing really at this point aside from the idyllic family. And,
so there's not like a specific steeple or anything like that?
Not from, not from my standpoint that I recall. This is just more the idyllic nature of everything. That is obviously just,
let's pause here.
Yeah, so she's looking in the drain, and it's kind of well known, as we're seeing in this series, that our main girl, whose name is eluding me unfortunately, but she's like our bevy stand-in.
Right.
There's voices in the drain that these kids are already hearing, whether it's in a sink or whether it's coming from the storm drain like we see here. I wish I could get like a better look at. It's just a random missing kid, I'm assuming. But
at the actual thing here.
Probably doesn't have any specific context, but just showing that kids go missing in Derry all the damn time, and that's something well documented in the source material, all the adaptations, both 1990 and 17. So yeah.
And is the Capitol is that the name of the theater in the show?
Oh boy, I wish I knew. That one I do not know offhand.
All right. Well, I'm just curious because I'm trying to see what
something man,
the missing man or something. No, I don't know. But it's Keen's. Is Keen's a building in the book that you know of or anything like that? I'm just wondering if all this is just completely made up or not.
I would imagine it's areas that they showed in both 17 and in this, maybe something that's been around for, that particular amount of time. But, nothing that I know specific offhand.
Well, let's continue on.
Yes, indeed.
All right. And then we get the glory hole. A hole in the fence. And kids in undies jumping into water, but... All right, so we'll pause right there. So this isn't necessarily in reference to any particular event.
No, I think, the closest we could probably get is they're out in what appears to be maybe the Barrens, and they're swimming and kind of messing around and everything.
There's not like an old wooden bridge that's... I feel like that could be the bridge from Nosferatu.
Yeah, Nosferatu, or... yeah, exactly, that McQueen drove through. It's actually a similar sort of vestige that I've seen in so many different horror movies set back east and,
the
proper filming locations.
Beetlejuice.
That too. But yeah, this feels like kids just, frolicking in the Barrens to me, and the presence has, you see the little, the candy.
I love that it's,
thing.
It's tempting. It's trying to tempt the kids.
And the kids just like, whoa, what's that?
There's even like a bit of a skull hint over there, there's a little bit of a shadowed teeth and nose kind of thing going on.
Yeah, so
I only grabbed the eyes when I added the eyes to this moment up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that vibe. Although, has he ever taken a tentacly form? Has he ever been hentai? Hentai-wise?
Hentai, oh my God. boy, offhand, he takes so many different variations in the source material from 86.
There's not someone obsessed with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or anything like
nothing
that?
that pops into my mind, unfortunately. I mean, it's a lot of classic monster stuff that he takes the guise of in the 86 stuff.
True.
So,
Okay.
I mean, Wolfman, and I believe Creature from the Black Lagoon, if I remember correctly, but I have yet to revisit the source material, which I want to do before this is over, but that's another beast of a book, and I'm trying to finish King Sorrow by his son right now. And so
Not only that, plus all the Stranger Things books.
Yeah, there's a lot on both of our proverbial plates as far as the show goes here. But, yeah, I mean, bottom line here, kids have been frolicking in the Barrens, and when, there's the emergence from slumber and it's time to get fearful and feed, kids have been, right there, ripe for the picking. So, yeah.
That should be a slogan. That should be its slogan. Time to get fearful and feed.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Continuing on.
So yeah, this is
Jesus.
less reference at this
shit.
particular point, but
That's
this taking
lobotomy,
place
right?
taking place in Juniper Hill.
Right.
Juniper Hill is referenced as the psych ward that Henry Bowers is taken to, but I mean,
Also, the place that one of our leads has spent time at in the show.
Yep. As we see at the very end of the second episode,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming we're going to get some juicy stuff at Juniper Hill in the episode that is airing this evening as we continue what is happening with her. But so the fact that maybe what I would theorize is that kids are, saying they saw things, and so in turn they're like, "No, kid, you're crazy.
Automatically
we're going to send you up there
off to Juniper with you."
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that for them.
Yeah, I was about to say, these poor kids, man.
I mean,
There's
one
nothing
thing you
wrong
don't
with
want
the
to
town, let's just scapegoat these poor children who are dying left and disappearing left and right.
One thing you don't want in life is to A, be born in Derry, or B, have parents that have to move to Derry for a job. And basically stay away from fucking Derry.
Yeah. And yet Mike
Stay away from Maine. Just stay away from the East Coast entirely.
There's a fondness by many for it, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Definitely a lot more beautiful than good parts of Arizona here
Fair.
in the deadly desert.
Okay, love
And so,
this.
yep.
So is this Neibold Street?
Yep, the home on Neibold Street, or so I presume. The design is identical. So yeah, this is perhaps seeing the last family that moved in there before it was completely condemned, and the kid is still like looking off to the side.
Because the sunflower fields were right outside Neibold, and isn't that where he was holding the kid's arm and waving?
Yep, the lepers. Yeah, which was I mean, once again with Andy Loving going super CGI heavy with his stuff, man. It's as some are not supremely fond of. But yeah, Neibold was at one point inhabited before becoming. But as you see by the eyes, it was already an epicenter, or at least, I don't know, when awakening from said slumber, coming up and out, and having this as kind of like a home base beyond the sewers if it's like up on the surface. So.
All right, continuing on.
And so this is where it just ties in with the time period is really all that I can gauge, because...
so it's like Cold War era?
Yep, exactly. Okay. Which would have been really time proper for this show, but also for the young kids in the book having taken place in the 50s as well.
Okay.
Or excuse me, in the 60s, my bad.
All right, and I wonder, because a nuclear explosion going off, there has to be a bit more of a deeper meaning. Like, it's going off right behind Neibold Street, so is that trying to say... And look, there's one balloon rising to the sky, too, amidst the explosion. So I wonder what that's meant to be saying specifically.
I mean, there is some intention by the
like,
Air
it's
Corps.
the apocalypse, essentially? Is that what it could
I mean,
try
apocalypse
to say?
for the town, so to speak, metaphorically.
It lands right behind Neibold Street, which is its lair, right?
Yeah, so I mean, there's always an epicenter for where the bomb drops, and so that tying in with where, as I was saying a moment ago, like, it's like base camp on the surface, when it emerges from the sewers, because that's where they go down into the sewers from the home on house on Neibold Street.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah, metaphorically speaking, and it's also time period appropriate. So, the Red Scare, the Cold War, all that stuff.
It's just nothing's ever just one meaning, right? So I'm always curious about that.
Yeah, but as we saw at the end of the second episode, we're trying to figure out what the government is using Dick Hanlon for, why they...
What weapon are they looking for?
Yeah, I mean...
I don't even think they know, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I don't think Dick knows. I think
makes
it's
me
just...
wonder if they think
there's
they can-
something of power.
Yeah, they
And,
can
like,
weaponize Pennywise, or the
That's
the
what everyone
presence that
keeps
takes
saying.
on
They're
the
trying
form.
to weaponize Pennywise. Again,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
why I
not
think
sure.
it's way more likely that it's a ship than anything else.
Yeah.
But I quite honestly think they don't even know. They didn't even
I
know what
just
they're
sunk.
searching for.
It's all good.
And stay down there.
Yes, just
All right,
and
here we
while
go.
you're down there, reference to the Saint for anyone who remembers.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, continuing on. So, okay, so this is... Oh, it's the classroom, literally, where it's duck and cover time.
Yep.
Okay. Wait, I want to go back. Is there
Yeah.
anything to these? No, it's just the times tables. Okay, I was like, is there anything to these numbers? Like, what do the numbers
Well,
mean?
I mean,
No, it's just the
yeah,
times
yeah. I was
tables.
going to say,
Okay.
does something add up?
Like,
to
I figured it's worth
something
checking.
adding up to 19. It
Well,
would
that's
make
what I'm
sense,
saying.
right?
Yeah.
But
So, all right, let's see. But I do like the duck and cover situation.
Mm-hmm.
This poor kid. Ah!
yeah. The kid's like,
Oh,
there's
wait, he's-
something far worse to be afraid of.
That's hilarious. Wait,
But-
what,
but
was
just
he
back
behind
it
the
up-
camera?
That's what it looks like, and we see like
It
the
does
clown
look a bit
hand,
like-
I
yeah.
believe, for the very first time within this.
True.
As opposed to
Oh,
just
it's no,
eyes.
it's the okay. So he's
So it's a
playing,
projector.
He's playing the film on the projector. Okay.
Yeah.
But I like
Which
that
I
this
think is
kid-
kind of a reference also to the iconic scene, from the
Sure.
the 2017 one.
yeah. But it's also like, he's behind the nuking of the world. There's that subtext
Or at least
as well.
the destruction that starts in Derry
It's his
and
goal.
spreads
You know what I
out.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's
kind of
the
thing.
ultimate. But I mean, really, it's just he doesn't want to destroy all of, or she, as as if you want to get really, really technical about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this entity that takes on the guise of a clown and various other things doesn't want to destroy the town, because then they won't have this food source. They don't want to. I mean, they want the adults to live and keep order, so they can kind of be around in the shadows and emerge when they need to, and then just go back to sleep and go into hibernation. So yeah.
All right, continuing on here.
But now we come to the biggest
Now we
one.
come to the big
This
stuff.
is the big one. So
Oh,
pause
shit,
right
I didn't
there.
even
Yep,
notice
up there
Pennywise.
firing a gun. And so this is from the third interlude. And
Not
this,
only that, he's like floating.
yeah. So this is in the source material, at least. Mike Hanlon is actually talking to Mr. Keene, who's the pharmacist. And the pharmacist remembers an incident that took place in, I just want to double check so I'm not effing up the date, 1929. And so apparently there were these mobsters, and there was this guy, Al Bradley. And Al Bradley went and placed a very massive ammunition order. And he was supposed to come in with a bunch of his gang members and some of their dames and everything to pick it up the very next day. And so word spreads about this, and pretty much all the men in Derry mobilize, and it turns into this big crazy shootout where, this gang, the Bradley gang as they call them, they're totally outnumbered, and they essentially get massacred by the much larger number of these dudes in Derry that just kill, the men, the women, totally degaff about that. And it turns into this big thing. They're declared, national heroes for squashing out this guy. But once again, similar to what I was mentioning with, so you
like,
see
let me
women
actually
right
show
there. You
you,
see
yeah.
women getting
Oh,
shot.
damn.
And yeah,
Women shooting, too.
Yep. So the women in Derry taking part in it as well. So the gang was heavily outnumbered, and essentially, because the gang didn't start this, Derry was like, no, we're going to squash out these gangsters, and it's our civic duty or whatever. So this is like...
Bowers roadside service, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah. So this is what I theorized, since at the end of the last episode, they were pulling out this, like, shot-up mobster vehicle. I know
Right, that's
Davey was thinking it was a military vehicle, and I was
Someone
like, no,
else suggested it is the car with the little kid from the beginning with the family. So it was all of them.
Yeah, well...
I don't know, but
I guess
but
that's a
those
possibility,
corpses
but-
were so far disintegrated. I
yeah.
don't think it could have been them.
Yeah, and
Because he was the kid's contemporary. Like, he's only been gone for a few days. There's no way they would have been that.
yeah. I mean, I still stand by
deteriorated.
my theory about it's Bradley gang related.
I think
because
so,
you
too.
only see a couple vehicles.
Well, look at the
there, and
vehicle. The
yeah,
vehicle right here is exactly the kind of car that they pull out of the sludge.
yeah, and
It's
I think
exactly the kind of car.
yeah. So I think that I think the evidence is there, but obviously it's open for interpretation.
I mean, we're going to find out tonight, right?
But the one thing, if you want to back it up to Pennywise real quick, so that's another thing that Mr. Keen, the pharmacist, so that's another thing that Mr. Keen actually mentions to Hanlon, because Hanlon asked him, Mike Hanlon, is like, so did you see anything weird there, during the shootout? Because he saw some of it. He was a lot younger back then, and he was like, "Oh, you mean the clown?"
Huh.
And so him and a friend of his both saw a clown that was dressed in overalls. He's in the typical Skarsgård Pennywise garb in this, just for reference sake. But in the book, he's in like mobster kind of overalls, and he's hanging over. I don't recall if he's actually shooting or not, but he's like laughing and overseeing the process. And Mr. Keen's friend, the pharmacist guy, actually says that his friend swore that you couldn't even see a shadow being cast by this clown. So he was right there just reveling in this violence, because he doesn't just, or she doesn't just rise up and kill kids.
Whoa.
I know.
Now
but
Pennywise is
the
fucking woke?
game.
Come on. Fucking she?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
My serial killers are men.
Yeah. But, so it's just kind of interesting in the fact that so the high class carnage, like the really larger scale stuff that goes down, is always just like the influence upon the town and that inherent evil amongst everybody there, which was totally copped in Halloween Ends, which kind of ticked me off, or you can say it was an homage or whatever. But nevertheless, about how there's just this pervasive evil amongst everybody in this town, all of the adults, and
as I understand it, evil dies tonight.
Yeah, well, that was the second one, which was even worse than the third one for me. But but what have you? Anyway, but so it's almost like just gleefully, and that's something I didn't mention about the lumberjack killings. The Thorogood guy from the board of directors, who mentioned to Mike Hanlon as well, he was like, yeah, somebody saw this just laughing guy right outside that Silver Dollar bar, that a few people had seen him around town. So always just kind of hanging around and kind of almost like puppet mastery, pulling the strings to make sure other people are doing it, so that they're all distracted with their own large-scale violence and just pick off the kids, kind of in the shadows, so to speak.
Gotcha.
But so this is the biggest and most direct just visualization of the third interlude from the book.
Okay. All right, and then
And this incident actually ties in.
I'm guessing it takes place on Easter.
That it does. It does. Although, to be fair, if I remember correctly, the Easter thing actually happened in the book, at least in 1906. So the lumberjack
separate.
So the lumberjack thing and actually not one of the interludes. That the ironwork stuff is researched and by like Hanlon, and they discover about it as kids in the book, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but yeah. So this is where a bunch of kids are on an Easter egg hunt, and there's I can't remember if there's an explosion that induces the fire, but yeah, all of these kids are like charred and dead, and so those are in 2017 when Ben sees the charred up kids and everything when he's doing some research in the library. It's from this particular incident right here. I
mean, I get the stylizing of it, but what the fuck are these kids doing up on the roof, and why is the Easter Bunny coming down from the moon? But anyway, I know it's style.
It's definitely stylized.
I'm nitpicking.
And you see what appears to be a preacher, but yeah, just the gnarly look of that kid, just
like on fire, like burning up. That's crazy.
Yeah, and the girl right there too. The blood and all of this.
Oh my God,
stuff.
what's up with him? He's like getting ripped up too. Wait. So I want to look here, make sure we're not missing anything, right? Like. So is there a water tower maybe in the background there? I don't think that's anything in particular. I'm trying to see if there's like a hidden Pennywise, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we saw at all of the other incidents.
Yeah, like hidden mouse ears at Disneyland. And
yes, and now we come to the conclusion. So the interesting thing, though, is that from the second interlude, which is the one that's tied directly to Mike Hanlon, we saw that at the beginning of 2017, where he's walking through the alley, and there's the charred up dudes coming out from the door and everything.
Wait, so the black spot isn't in here, huh?
Nope, black spot. Ironically, as I was telling you before we started filming, I'm like, there's a little less referencing. I mean, the Bradley gang is the big centerpiece of it.
That's interesting.
Actually showing that, and I think it's the big centerpiece because that thing was pulled
Oh,
out. And
because-
that's what makes me think maybe we're going to
Gotcha.
hear about the Bradley massacre
More so
in
than the
this
Black
next
Spot.
episode, or maybe, episode 3, episode 4, at least later in the season. I think they're going to talk directly about it, maybe even show it to us, is what I'm suspecting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the Black Spot incident not being shown here, but it is the second interlude, and that's where, I think we're going to see the Black Spot straight up in the show, because when the military guys were drinking, they were already talking about getting their own spot,
Yeah, needing a
because of the
place,
fact
yeah.
that there is the racial tension of, these black guys are going to come take our white women, and so on, and because the Black Spot in the book is where, so Will Hanlon, he's like, okay, we need somewhere to go drink, hang out. It's just like a shack, and yet they turn it into this little blues bar, this kind of speakeasy sort of spot. They're drinking whatever. Dick Halloran is like cooking food for people, and yet a bunch of racists in Derry, they go and they burn the place down. Somebody comes with a truck and like smashes one of the walls, so a few people can escape, including Will and Dick Halloran. But Dick Halloran actually sees, or maybe it's Will. Anyway, they see this big flying bird, and so that is the guys that the creature that takes on the appearance of Pennywise. It takes on the bird form, which ties in with Stanley Uris. He has his bird watching affinity, and he sees this giant bird flying around, and so that's one of the many forms that the creature that also dresses up like or takes on the appearance of a clown, I should specify. But so that's the 3 interludes that have any mention. But back to Bradley Gang, man, I think it is going to play a pivotal part in this season of the show. That's my prediction.
Okay.
You guys are hearing it here.
We'll find out tonight.
Yes, we will. Yes, we
All
will.
right. So that's going to do it, you guys, for our breakdown of the Welcome to Derry fun credit sequence,
Demented Norman Rockwell, man. I love it. Yeah, very
Indeed.
well stylized. I dig it.
Oh, shit. The rain was over that the whole time. Well, I hope you guys don't hate me too much. That was an accident. Apologies. I don't know how to fix that in post, but... Shit. Well, it's okay. It added atmosphere, guys.
There you go. I mean, you spent a lot of time making that background.
God
so.
damn it. That was just a last-minute add, too. Apologies. But, you still get the point, so...
Yeah.
It's just more moody our way.
Yeah.
So thank you guys very much. Fuego, I'll hand it off to you. Thank you to our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. We greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. So until the Wheel of Ka comes around once more, hasta luego, Cinemigos, constant readers and viewers alike, say thank you. I hope we have been well met, and share more of this palaver about Welcome to Derry. It is going to happen sooner rather than later, because later tonight, it's going down live.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, until then, stay scared, obviously, and read Stephen King, because if you haven't, put this book to the test, it is dense, and there is a lot of interesting stuff going down.
All right, we'll see you in a couple of hours. Bye, guys.
Later.